Body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment, benevolent. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amoka Vairocana Mahamudra Manipadma Chavala Pravataya
Please take a moment to straighten your mats and cushions, and then stand facing the altar for chanting of the three refuges. So bringing our hands palm to palm at heart center. We will first take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in Sino-Korean, in keeping with our tradition, and then a second time in English. So even if you do not know the words of the chant, try to throw your voice in with the sound of it so you can have some experience of it yourself. Chi Shim Gwim Yang Ne Chi Bang Sam Se Che Mang Cha Sang Chu Il Che Chi Shim Gwim Yang Ne Shi Bang Sam Se Shahe Sanju Ilche Damaya Ajung Chi Shim Quim Yang Ne Shi Bang Sam Se Che Man Chahe San Juhu Ilche Sangaya Ajung. I go for refuge to the Buddha.
I go for refuge to the Buddha,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment,
And realize the great way.
and realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
I will penetrate the teachings,
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
I go for refuge to the Sangha,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many,
And transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
Now please remain standing just for another moment longer while I read our ancestor dedication. Let's see, what day of December is it? The 7th. Okay, I gotta watch. On this 7th day of December 2025, we acknowledge that this land where our temple buildings stand has been the home of Native peoples, the Potawatomi, the Odawa, and the Ojibwe, the Council of the Three Fire Tribes, and also of Black Americans. We know that this neighborhood used to be a historically Black neighborhood during times of sanctioned racial segregation and oppression. For our own awakening and for the awakening of all life, may the benevolent energies of our meditation, chanting, and full presence here at the service this morning extend to all beings on this planet and throughout time and space. May there be deepening of our interbeing. May peace prevail and wars cease. Making 3 bows. Now please have a seat again for another shorter period of meditation, about 5 minutes. Please join me in some simple stretching exercises to end our meditation. The hush of the newly fallen snow. And a line from a half-remembered poem comes to me, something like, "Let us take inspiration from the snow, which leaves nothing out." Good morning. Nice to see all of you, my brave, snowy Sunday crew. We weren't sure how many people were going to be able to make it here this morning, so I hope you all can return safely as you arrived safely. Thank you for being here. My name is Jagwa Kelly Davenport. I'm one of the Dharma teachers here in Ann Arbor. And let's see. So today I want to talk about curiosity and the role that that plays in spiritual practice. And I think it was just maybe last weekend or something, my husband and I watched this documentary on YouTube. So it's free. I recommend it. Called Listers. I see some people nodding. Have you heard of this? Apparently it's a little bit of a phenomenon. It's about these two young brothers who have self-produced this documentary in which they take a year living in a van, traveling around the country to see as many birds as they can. And this is known as having a big year in people who, the bird watching community, the sort of competitive bird watching community as it comes to be in this documentary. And these guys are some pretty funny characters. Their names are Quentin and Owen. I looked them up. I think they're from the St. Louis, Missouri area, not that far away from where I grew up, actually. And they buy this old van. I think they're in their 20s. They don't really have anything else to do, so they get this notion, even though they don't really know anything about birds, that they are going to try to see as many bird species as possible in 1 year. And a sort of competitive number would be something like 600 species of birds in a year. And they go through this whole sort of gamut of dramatic kind of development in this documentary that to me seemed very similar to sort of a spiritual quest. So I wrote down the steps that they seem to experience. First of all, learning to see, because they don't actually know that many bird species. They can only, maybe off the top of their heads, name 4 or 5. So they have to look everything up in books. So they take pictures of the birds, and then they have to carefully page through the books and see, well, was it this type of plover or was it this type of plover, so that they can add it to the list. So learning to see. Learning to discern. They quickly learn that many of the types of birds are so similar to each other. There's only one tiny detail, like a coloring of black on the side of the cheek of the bird, and they have to pay really close attention to identify it. They have days where they're sort of really enamored with this project, and then days where the mosquitoes in the Everglades are invading their van and biting them all night long, and they think, why are we doing this? And so then as they come out of these sort of peaks and troughs of inspiration, they still seem to find a way to connect to their wonder and curiosity of the natural world, and that's sort of what is driving them forward. So it's really charming film. I do recommend it. And as I was doing a little bit of thinking and research about this topic of wonder and curiosity, I found a line from a 12th century Zen master from China named Hongzhi, who wrote, "Wander into the circle of wonder." That was sort of his practice instructions. Wander into the circle of wonder. So I think that we can consider this notion of curiosity or wonder. In Buddhism, it is sometimes framed under this term of way-seeking mind, the mind that is seeking some type of spiritual cultivation, some type of answer for the longing that we might feel. I think we can consider this one of the gates into our Zen practice. So this way-seeking mind is maybe something that we first notice when we have a sort of questioning. Why is life like this? Why is there this suffering? Why do I feel a bit dissatisfied with the normal day-to-day routine of my life? And so this sort of recognition of that questioning, and then maybe also underneath that, sort of a little bit of an intuition or even just a hope that there might be some kind of practice or community or answer that begins to speak to those questions that we're experiencing. So in our Buddhist tradition, this sort of questioning and then this spiritual longing and then this intuition that there might be something to learn is considered a very important step. This little spark that maybe sets us out on our spiritual path. So I want to look at some of this role that curiosity and wonder, I think, plays in spiritual development. And then I want to share with you a mindfulness technique that I've found very helpful in my life that is about sort of developing some of the ways of seeing and being and relating with thoughts and emotions that can help us cultivate some curiosity. So another way of speaking about this concept of the way-seeking mind, the mind seeking the way, a spiritual way, dharmic path, is the term bodhi mind. So you have heard of a bodhisattva, an awakened being. So bodhi is the awakened mind. And we say that the awakened mind is already awakened and everyone already has it. It's just that we may not actually notice that it's there. And of course, there's some cultivation that we may need to do to fully realize that awakened mind. So what role does this way-seeking mind play in our practice? Well, we have a very famous example, of course, of how way-seeking mind led the Buddha to his spiritual practice. You might have heard one of the stories from early in his life when he was a young man in his 20s, living this very cloistered life in a palace. And one day he goes out in his horse and buggy with his attendant, and he sees some sights he has never seen before. Do you remember what they are? What are they?
You seen an old man?
Yes, an old man. Yes. And a sick person, and a corpse, and a wise person, a wandering mendicant, a monk probably. And he's so taken aback, as the story goes, that he is kind of asking his attendant to explain these sights, because he has never seen an old person, and no one has told him, you're going to get old too, you are going to die too, you are going to get sick. And then the sort of mystery of this monk that he sees and what this person is doing. So that's the story, but we can hear in that story the beginnings of this concept of this curiosity, and a curiosity tinged with kind of longing, maybe a little bit of existential worry. How to make sense of this world and this human experience. So I wrote here in my notes that way-seeking mind is an opening into experiencing direct reality, not just our mind's perceptions as reality. I think we've all had the experience of thinking one thing was true because that's what we perceived. And then suddenly there's a shift and we realize, oh, that's not how it was at all. So this opening into possibility is this experience of this direct reality. I thought it was like that, but really I see it's not like that at all. So what is it like? You know, that sort of really deep, pure questioning is a really integral part of our Zen practice. So when there's this opening of not really knowing what the answer to some question that we have is, that's a place of really deep possibility. We can perhaps see more clearly, perhaps we're a little bit less attached to the views that we held before. And only then can we discern what action to take that perhaps is more in accord with this true reality that we have touched into. I think many of us come to this spiritual curiosity out of suffering. Whenever I love to hear people's stories of why they ended up coming to the temple or coming to the temple. And often it's a story like, I had my heart broken. And so I didn't know what to do, but I thought maybe I would try meditation. Or someone in my life died. And so I didn't know what to do. And I thought maybe I would come here. I think that it's so common, and therefore it must be an important step on this awakening to a spiritual curiosity, because when that true human suffering is sort of experienced by us, it's this invitation to kind of turn into understanding that instead of pushing it away. So I think there must be a really important ingredient to our curiosity if so many people experience that curiosity arising out of suffering, just as the Buddha experienced himself. So I had an experience of like this a little bit of myself recently with kind of thinking it was like this, but it really wasn't like that at all. I had an opportunity a couple of months ago to go on a trip with my mother, who I hadn't really spent that much time around in probably 3 years. She lives like 10 hours away from here by car, and it's hard for her to travel. And we've also had some friction in our relationship over the last several years. And I had a lot of thoughts and feelings and anxieties and opinions about the nature of this difficulty. And yet at the same time, I really wanted to go on this trip. So I had a little bit of a curiosity about, well, maybe I think I know what it will be like, but maybe it won't be like that at all. And I don't know, actually. And so we actually ended up having some really heart-to-heart kinds of conversations, very kind of frank conversations, but very kind ones on this trip that made me realize that what I had diagnosed as the nature of our kind of friction was really only a tiny part of the story. And in a lot of ways, I had contributed much more than I had even realized to some of the difficulty that I had noticed. So that was very interesting. And I've always found that for myself, at least, when there is this moment of, I thought it was like that, but really it's like this, there's almost kind of a felt sense. Oh, it's like an exhale. And there was a moment when my mom was sitting with me on the couch in the little apartment that we were staying in. And we had just gotten done FaceTiming my dad, who couldn't come on the trip. And she put her hand on my knee. Just a sweet gesture. And I hadn't sat with my mom in so long. And I was like, oh, I really missed that. You know, this relationship's really important to me. Let me pay more attention. And treasure that a little bit more. And so I think that wisdom that lives in the body is such an important tuning fork for pointing out the times when the thinking mind is gotten off course and the body says, come back to the reality of this situation. Are you actually paying attention to what this is? You thought it was like that, but really it's like this. So I think that physical sensation is one we can really attune to because we've all had that moment of, oh, right, yeah. And it's like a coming home to the body and the mind being in one place. So I want to share then this technique that I learned from a meditation teacher named Gil Fronsdal, who teaches out in California. And I don't think he invented it. I'd have to go back and look at the original article. I think it was from a different teacher. But it's a really interesting one because it is, I think, a wonderful framework for developing the sort of foundations of curiosity, which to my mind are a sense of stability, sort of a willingness, not to jump to conclusions, but to kind of have an openness and questioning, as well as developing our compassionate observation and neutral discernment. So I think about those bird watchers, where they have to very carefully, through the lens of the camera, is it this type of plover? Or is it that type of plover? Does it have a black streak on its cheek? What is it? So that sort of neutral watching. And I think it's perhaps no coincidence that in meditation, we cultivate this soft, wide, neutral, open gaze. And that's the same orientation physically that we cultivate with curiosity. Okay, so I'm going to teach you this mindfulness technique, and then we're going to practice it just for a few moments and see kind of what your experience of it is. So it has an acronym, BELLA, B-E-L-L-A. Has anyone heard of this one before? Okay. So the first letter, B, stands for be with. Be with. E stands for examine. Examine. L stands for lessen, reducing the intensity.
What does it stand for?
Lessen.
Lesson?
L-E-S-S-E-N, like to reduce the intensity of something, to lessen it. Yeah. The second L stands for let go. And the A stands for appreciate. So be with, examine, lessen, let go, appreciate. So another way maybe to understand being with is like accompanying, just being with the thought, the feeling, the sensation, just neutrally observing it. Examine is a kind of a soft seeing. What is this sensation, thought, feeling? Lessen is when we invite particularly challenging feelings, thoughts, sensations to perhaps reduce the intensity a little bit. Letting go, I think of like opening our hands. Can you put it down, whatever this thing is? And then appreciating is looking back on the experience. Oh, that was so useful to understand. Self, thank you. Okay. So we can use this technique, I think, in situations where we notice that we are ruminating on something. Usually it's a good signal there's some kind of unresolvedness about a situation. Even in the moment of maybe one of these steps might come to you in a difficult interaction. A couple weeks ago, I had a situation where I was at the grocery store just around the corner from here. And I wasn't really paying attention. I was doing my things. I had my cart. And it's the sort of thing where it's a little hard to tell where you line up, right, to go to the cash register. And I saw one of the cash registers was open, so I just walked up to it. And then a woman who I hadn't even seen off to my right said, "You just cut in front of me. I've been standing right here, and you just walked up in front of me and went to that cash register." And I was... it was sort of in that tone. And I was so ashamed and startled that I just said, "Oh, please go ahead. Please go ahead." And then afterward, I was surprised that stinging feeling was still in me, and I kept returning to it. And there was all kinds of thoughts, like I didn't know where the line started, and why did she have that tone of voice? And I was having such a nice morning before this. And I go to the Zen temple. It's just right here. There was a lot of feelings and thoughts. Anyway, and so I thought of that step, let go, let go. It's a practice. And I sometimes use this mantra for myself, nothing to protect. Nothing to protect. What does nothing to protect feel like? Oh, right. Simple human mistake. I'm sorry. So sometimes mantras, I think, can be a useful tool of practice too. Okay, are we ready to try the technique? Okay, so let's take a little bit more of a formal posture. Just checking in with breathing. Feeling our alignment in the body, sense of stability. And then whatever perhaps challenging or nagging thought, feeling, worry, interpersonal interaction, conflict that you have recently experienced that might be still on your mind, I invite you to return to that thought, feeling, or interaction. And first, just be with that thought, that feeling, that sensation. Just with a very neutral and open awareness, just being with it. And now, with a compassionate, neutral observer in your mind's eye, examine, what is the nature of this thing? What is this thought, feeling, sensation? If it's helpful, you can name the emotion, the belief, the need. And then ever so gently inviting whatever that feeling or thought, the way that it's gripped in your mind or body, inviting it just ever so softly to lessen, to reduce the intensity, turning down the volume. It can be helpful to come back to the physical sensation of our bodies ever so solidly sitting in our chair or on our mat, the rhythm of our breath, bringing a sense of stability that allows whatever it is to reduce in intensity. Is there an opportunity now to let go, to put something just down to the side? Perhaps with greater understanding from having examined, there is a sense of completion of that thought, that need, a better understanding of that belief driving the thoughts. And then bringing our awareness to our heart center, inviting a little bit of warmth, appreciation. Oh, that's what it was. I'm glad that I looked at that. So I'm curious if you found one of these steps sort of more natural or more experienced, and maybe if any of the steps felt a little bit more challenging or less practice with, and what that was like. What did you notice? And we can bring around microphones so everyone can hear each other if anyone has a comment. Yeah, right here. Thank you.
Hello. I thought the let go part was really nice. After like being with it, trying to replicate those emotions and thinking of how to lessen it, really just letting go was the most significant to me. And then for some reason, I came up with the concept of like time gets rid of everything, just like the wind, it carries everything away. So.
Thank you. Any other observations? Yeah.
Let go is also very useful for me. One thing that I practiced in the past with something like this is a don't know element, basically in the same spot as letting go. Because for me, when it's like, what is this? And then don't know, and that's kind of part of letting go, just kind of letting go of your conceptions of what it is.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaguar, for the Dharma talk today. And a lot that you said was absolutely true. You know, it was grief that brought me to the Buddhist temple 25 years ago when my brother passed. And I was pointed in this direction. And when I got here, you all was burning candles and incense and chants. What the heck going on in here, man? Right?
Uh-huh.
But it was something about me told me to go in. And once I went in, something said, you need to stay, young child.
Mm.
And I've been coming and practicing for 25 years. My Buddhist monk told me, my teacher told me, he said, the mind speaks, but the body knows. He said, the mind talks, but the heart knows the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it lives in truth. It cannot be deceived. He said, I want you to learn to return to the language of the body.
Mm.
And I do that on a day-to-day basis. I listen to it. And it sends directions to the thinking mind. The thinking mind forwarded to my actions. And that's when I achieve complete serenity.
Mm.
So I really wanted to say this to the whole Sangha, because I couldn't say it last week because Haju was not here. And I wanted to say to her personally, I love you. The inspiring, true, heartfelt words you spoke to me 2 weeks ago after the session meant so much to me coming from you. I went home in tears, Haju. And I said, when I get back to the temple and see her, I'm going to tell her personally in front of the whole Sangha, I love her and the work that she put forth for us to awaken.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
Thank you.
So the thing I've been ruminating about, I made a laundry list of why I keep thinking about it. And during this, I realized it's just lack of control. And the letting go part, but naming it and being aware of that part, it makes it so much easier to pinpoint. And then, okay, I can do this, this, and this. Because I need a plan. I don't like doing things if I don't understand. And at the end of that little exercise, the feeling of like a cloud dissipating, that was really nice. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
My share seems so trivial after yours, but I'll say it anyway. So I was going to choose a difficult interpersonal situation to work on, but instead I chose just a traffic irritation. I was like, maybe I'll start with that one. And it was involving school pickup in a parking lot that I'm convinced is a one-way. I swear I saw the sign. And one day, somebody was going the wrong way. And I said, this is a one-way. What are you doing? She's like, since when? I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, the shame. I was like, oh. So that was interesting to work with that interaction. And the harder part was examining it, because I was like, what was that? It was hard. That part was hard.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think there's someone out here.
I don't know if people still do the Myers-Briggs test. It was really a thing a number of years ago, but what it does, well, I don't know what it does, but what it did for me is it kind of helps you identify how you move through the world. And one of the categories is, are you an emotional person or are you more of a thinking person? And I score way off the charts on emotion. So examining this morning was so helpful for me. There's something I've been really struggling with and embarrassed about and yada, yada. And, just to sit with it and look at it and name the different emotions that go along with it. I got a sense of kind of the roots of this thing that I'm struggling with. And just examining it made it so much easier to lessen it. When you first went through these Jagwa and we got to the first L and lesson, I thought, how can I do that? But so it was a very helpful process for me.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
I probably should have picked a traffic incident too, because I picked a huge weighty thing that I actually have already thoroughly examined, and I see very clearly, and I know the reason, and the letting go is still the difficulty. But what I'm finding is it's okay to start with the intention to let go and begin with that and just keep working toward it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for trying that experiment. And this is my Christmas gift to you, because now you have Bella in your little back pocket. If you're in a challenging situation with family, perhaps, or whatever might be going on, being with, examining, experiencing, lessening. Oh, maybe I can turn down the volume on this a little bit. Letting go. Let me open my hands, even in a small way. Oh, nothing to protect. Appreciation. I'm glad that I took the time to look at that. Yeah, so thank you. I think it might be time for some announcements.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, welcome to the.
Actually, I'm not
Center.
sure that's on.
Oh.
Yeah, I can hardly hear you.
Let's see.
No, it sounds on. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Thanks a lot. Okay, so who's here for the first time? Welcome in. I hope you enjoyed it. We welcome you to the Sunday service. We have this every Sunday at 10 a.m. There's also a family service that everyone can come to, and there's like special things that happen for families and for children, and that happens every second Sunday of the month, which I think the next Sunday will be, right? Besides that, we also have Together Action every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. I don't know if the next Saturday will have that. That's right. After the service as well, there is another like 15 minutes, right? Something like that. Yeah. Of Together Action. So this is a big part of being part of the Sangha is working with our hands and practicing our principles and kind of in a physical manner in the world. As we approach the end of 2025, we warmly invite you to attend some special events, including the year-end candle lighting service. This will be Kindling Light of Wisdom Mind, which will be held on December 31st from 8 to 10 p.m. It's an occasion to take stock of one's life and to greet the new year in contemplation and reflection. Everyone is welcome to join that. We also have a special New Year's Day service on January 1st. at 11:30 a.m. In January 2026, we'll have a lot of events. A special event will be Buddha's Enlightenment setting, and that will be on January 23, starting 8 p.m. Where you can come in and meditate to awaken to your true nature, inspired by Sakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, who sat under the Bodhi tree and came to freedom. This will be an all-night setting, which ends at 4 a.m. on January 24. So starting from 8 p.m. ending at 4 a.m. And then in January, on the third Sunday of every month from 2 to 3:30, there will be an offering of a special service called, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time I see it, Uposatha observance.
Upasata.
Uposatha.
That's right, yeah.
Do you know anything more about it?
Well, some knows.
Musamsa, yeah. Well, okay. So this is an opportunity to open our hearts and burn ourselves with guilt. Oh yeah. So it's an opportunity to open our hearts and unburden ourselves of guilt and strengthen our ongoing relationship with Buddhist precepts, and this is like a new, and the first service will be offered in January 18. And yeah, if you have any questions, please ask Samsung right there, or the other teachers here in Craig. And then all the regular temple classes will resume in January as well, including yoga with David Black. So that meets every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And the Lotus Sutra study group with Chi Jiang, Cliff Brown. And that meets every Tuesday from 7 to 8:15 p.m. Both in person and on Zoom. And then there is the Qigong with Samatha, that's Cyrus Cole. That's cool. I'll meet Monday evenings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Here in the Buddha Hall. And then there is the meditation class that happens. So that's a 5-day well, like it's a over 5 weeks, every Thursday, starting from January 8th, and that would be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. On Thursday evenings. And then there is the overnight meditation class. It'll be between February 6th to February 7th overnight. And yeah, if you have for any details, there are like sheets in the foyer, and also you can talk with any of the people in grade. They can tell you more. You can sign up to these events and so on. There again, sign up sheets outside. And then there is the online sangha that meets every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. This service will include practitioners from this temple and other temples in Toronto and New York, and also people who live at a distance. So there is a Zoom link right here as well. Sorry, found in the website that has the link here. Yeah, this temple is entirely supported by your generous donations. There is a fishbowl outside, and also like a device for if you want to use your credit card. Yeah, it's also supported by your time including work practice. And I think there is a note here that on Sundays, when there is snow like today, we would be grateful for assistance with clearing our walkways prior to the service. If you come that early and you help with that, there's also a delicious breakfast waiting for you as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So will there be 15 minutes of work practice after the service today, Haju?
rooms and just take care of extensive walkways, both outside and inside the grounds. Let's meet just at the front door of the historic temple. And those of you, just about 5 or 10 minutes, if there's many of us, it will be well taken care of.
Thank you. Yes.
Recovery Dharma will meet in the historic Buddha Hall, big yellow building next door, at noon today in the library.
Thank you. Okay, so let's formally end our service with the 4 great vows. Please repeat after me. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
And then Ma'um, would you like us to put away mats and cushions or leave them out?
Yes, please. So the mats and cushions that touch the carpet can remain. Those that are on the outside rows on this side of the room should be put on the stage. On that side of the room should be stacked in the corner neatly. Please, as you're doing it, be mindful